How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and we're on with Road to Finals Episode 3. So, this is, like I've said before, this is a series that I did for the last finals, where I go over like like kind of discussions and stuff to help you get prepared as best you can for the upcoming EU finals, because we've got it this week now. Like as the filming of this episode, on the release of this episode, we've got it coming out this weekend, and yeah, it's coming up really close, and we've just got a lot of stuff to go over, and we've gone over two episodes already. So with the first one we had, it was what can we expect from the format, and then for the second episode we went over how much will Set 23 impact the event, because Set 23 was released officially last week on Friday, and it's legal for the next set, but the TPs for it aren't. So we went over basically what the benefits of that are, like how it's like a quite decent difference. But then today, what I wanted to do is go over what you should expect. Yeah, what should you expect from the meta? Because it's going to be a different meta compared to what the NA is going to get from, well, what Asia had when they had theirs, like last month or the month before. Like they had us really early, still didn't even know, they didn't even know at the time what we were getting from like participation and stuff like that. And then for the NA1, they got this in January, like the day before Worlds, so they're gonna have everything legal being TP, like have everything fine, have everything legal it should be, including like TPs and stuff. But for us, we're going to have a little bit different. We're not going to have the TPs, we have the set and the ban list. So that's kind of like the best bit of it, because those the TPs are going to be hard to get this close. But by the time, like, say, NA gets theirs, they'll have enough time to get those TPs, even if it's over the Christmas break. So I wanted to just go over and the basic kind of like go over a little bit from what we'd expect from the meta. But before I do get in the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel out greatly, because we're still trying to get to 1,000 subs before the end of the year. And that'd be great if we can. If we can, but then if we can do that, that'd be fantastic. And you can help out by, just as I said, giving a like to this video. Let me know you like the series. I'll make sure to do this just to help out everybody going to EU finals. Comment down below if there's anything you want to comment, like if you want to discuss anything from the video, or even things you want to see on the channel. Feel free to do that. And also subscribe. Helps you out greatly. And you can get the notification bell to get alerts to when videos do drop, so you can know to go and watch them straight away, or that they're available to watch whenever you have time. So out the way, let's have a little bit of discussion about what we should expect from the meta. So we kind of discussed like what benefits Set 23 has, and that kind of has a big impact on the meta, what we expect. So we're going to go over like the different color, what we'd expect from the meta for each of different colors, and we'll go in color order we can normally do, and we'll start off with red. So for red, these are some of the like I like red gets a big boost for the meta, so I expect a lot of red for this meta, because not did like any one generic like no red deck got a specific like big boost. Every red deck got a big boost from this in the form of just explosive dance. Explosive dance being a fantastic floodgate, essentially, where it's just a negate. Like you can't play it for free or anything. You got to pay it 1 energy to play it, but it's a 1 cost negate, and it actually negates the attack. And it's just amazing flood, because if you're at 4 less life and you got a Z extra, which is very easy to get a Z extra on a drop, like the anniversary box gave every color a 1 cost, 1 Z energy generic Z extra. They can just play out ready as early as, like, as long as you can get 1 Z energy in there, a 1 energy, then play out, you've got that established to then have access to it. And all you need to do is be at 4 less life with a Z extra in your battle area. It doesn't have to be a red Z extra, just any Z extra. So if you're playing a deck that involves different colors, a red deck, red leader, and you have like different colors in your deck, like you're playing different colors than just red, you can play out a different Z extra, and you just need a Z extra in there. But essentially, it's just a 1 cost negate, extra card negate that negates the attack. And if you're 4 less life with a Z extra in your battle area, you put a floodgate on your opponent, meaning they can't attack anymore with non-leader cards unless they sack off cards from the Z energy whose cost total equal to or more than the attack of the card. So if you want to attack with 30k, you have to sack off cards from your Z energy whose power combined equal 30k or more just to attack with that card. And if they do that and they negate attack, then you've lost that, use that Z energy off, and the attack's negated. Now you've got to hope you've got more to attack with something else, or try and use your leader swing to kind of generate Z energy to build up further attack. But it's normally going to be a game-ending one, and it's going to be fully at 4 copies if you want to run any deck, and every red deck has good access to this. So every red deck is going to be a good contender for the meta, but there's going to be one stronger than other ones. So like for the ones we got here, we've got like a few different, like any red deck could be good, potentially, but some are better. So we got Pan. That's the one that everybody seems to like collaborate towards when it comes to red. Saying like Pan is the best red deck because it's just a basic red deck. It's just a basic beatdown deck. It's not it's not like better than any other red deck. It's just the simplest one to use because essentially it can draw on either player's turn, control 2 cards a turn from like the first auto, then second auto attack with. It's got a way to like push like a hard way to end turns with this, using the Z deck, using the Defender of Life to bring out, and it's also got a good access to a good secret rare in the form of Vegeta Zeno, being a very good one free that can give you a big aggressive turn, plus give you some solid defense. But it's not the best red deck, but it's a decent one. But everybody seems to clamor towards it because yeah, it's just like with most decks that the community just seems to go towards that are quite strong. It's just a very easy to use deck that yeah, just very easy to pick up and understand and play. Similar to how like we get some big decks like Gohan, Sin, SS4 and stuff. They're just very powerful decks that don't take much thought or consideration to do. You can misplay and still come out on top, and require little to no skill to just pilot and play and then reward players just for being a deck. So Pan's a one that probably you'll expect to see quite a lot of because it's a very simple one that people can just pick up and play and do well with, and especially with the boost of explosive dance, could be a little bit better. And then you've got decks like Jiren, like very aggressive red decks that try to go very, very hard, very ham, very aggressive early. And before the recent explosive dance, they didn't really, if like, they could have a harder time, kind of like to not be clapped back, so they can try and clap your opponent. But if they fail to do that and end them, they can get clapped back and then die, basically on the clapback. And Jiren now is a deck, well, other decks like it's some red aggro decks, so decks that can now try and go ham on your opponent, and if they fail to kill, they have a solid way to just almost end the turn after by just going explosive dance, just put a floodgate on your opponent, that makes it harder for them to kill you, and potentially survive because of that card, and then go back to try and kill again, being aggressive as they normally would. And I just put Jiren as well up here because there's a few different red decks that can be aggressive like that. I just put Jiren as an example because it's one that aims to get to 4 less life to flip over. So once again, once it flips over and starts being as aggressive as possible to Awaken Leader, it's then at the right possible time for its stance to be useful. As long as you get a red C extra out within those turns before, which you can easily do. And yeah, it's just one that's done well and topped within a fair few events since the release of the anniversary box. Get the support for it. There's also with that new anniversary box Pan. And then the other one I've kind of got as example because I just thought I'd put 3 examples of each because with red, as I said, the whole color got boosted, so a lot of decks in there, but I don't go in every single deck because that'd take forever. But Cooler is another good one because this one has an alternate wing condition, and it's one that people like really hyped up from the anniversary box support because it got some good support, especially with the new Z lead and some other cards to help boost it. And it's another one that can now survive a little bit easier because then it's got access to blue stuff as well, and also now it's got access to a very strong floodgate to help survive if it gets Koitsukai in the turn. Because Koitsukai normally is quite a horrible card to to put like a horrible condition on the deck that makes it lose its hand, which makes it less like a boogeyman for a Koitsukai. But now it's got an even stronger floodgate it can use, where if it gets Koitsukai, it's got another way outside of trying to do its normal stuff of rivaling stuff in to reduce power to mill and make it easier to defend. Now they've just got a very strong floodgate they can use instead as well. So that gets a nice little boost. These 3 probably get quite a strong boost, but also once again, there's a lot of our red decks that get a huge boost from just this fantastic floodgate. So you can expect a lot of red in the meta because yeah, of that one card boosting it all up. So that's what red. Now we're going to blue, and blue is a little bit weaker. I've got some cards up here, but blue is probably, well, I'd say it is one of the weaker colors in the format, which is weird because it's been a very strong color for the majority of the game. But then with the Senzu being hit, and with just like the power of every colors coming up a little bit better, blue isn't doing as great. Like it has some annoying strategies. Like it's got Android 21. I'd like a deck that Bandai need to sort out with ideas like this, like deck strategies like this. Just make it unfun. Like they try to make some decks, especially in blue, that are just unfun to play against, or stuff in blue that then warps the meta, making it just not fun to play. And Android 21 is like that. But with the EU, 121 doesn't see as much play as in the, I think, US and other regions. It kind of dropped off because it's not one that is enjoyable to play, and it doesn't do as well considering like we've had in the latest lot of formats and a lot of events, we've had more black dominating, and when you do drop things in, like you got petrification to stop it and everything like that. So Android 21 doesn't do as well here, but it's still one that people will still try to play. Like people have that play style of like wanting to stall, not win the game, and just make it so your opponent has a horrible time. So you can still expect that. And also does come with a secret rare that can help win on time procedures. Remember, with our finals for EU, it's best of 3 side, meaning you only got 35 minutes, and then 5 minutes of time to try and finish the game, and you can just hold out, stall with blue, and then use the Ender 21 secret rare to just make your life higher and win on time procedures, which sadly is a way you can win the game, and some people do. And then you got the Gogeta, which is a deck that just accumulates a lot of cards and just trying to whip you down to three or less life, just trying to hit you down a little bit while gaining loads of cards, and then trying to go off with its huge play of pushing its leader swing with a counter to back it up, and then activate its effect to give using the Z extra to give it an extra 30k and triple strike, and just go on with the leader swing. Because with leader swings, you can't really get out the leader swings. Like once the leader swing to nets and it's going through, the only hope you have is to out combo it. And when you can make your leader a triple strike and a huge amount of like power, like over 100k, and triple strike to finish a game when you're on 3 less life, the only option you have is out combo, and you can have a hard time when it's like over 100k. And normally, if you do that, you're wasting your entire hand, and you still got the rest of the stuff to deal with. So yeah, it's a hard one. And then you got the more basic one that is more generic, like the more generic leader in the format, because that's how blue used to do. Like that's how blue used to be strong. Was more just being a generic leader with all the generic good stuff behind it. Like we've seen with Crimson and stuff like that. Blue used to be just the best leader in blue used to be the more generic, most generic one that get the best benefit with just having all the blue staples and generic cards jacked together to make it just a very good deck. And Soul Striker is kind of like the best one for that. It's not as great because it's got to still get itself down to 4 to Awaken, flip over. But with the reboot one, you still get some draw because you can swing either at attack or draw, I think it is. And yeah, like it's the most generic one, but it's not as great considering what the average. I wouldn't expect much Soul Striker, but it could be the more generic one. But I expect the Ever 2 more Gogeta to 21 in the EU meta. But then blue isn't, you're not going to see too much, but you will mostly like see, you probably see these 3 leaders, but more of the Gogeta than the Ever 2. And you won't even see that much blue. It'll more be red focus for finals, I feel. So then we move on to green, and green it's been getting bigger boosts. It's been getting better cards to help bolster the color. But the only problem is with it got a boost similar to how red when Sin and Gogeta, where the color wasn't boosted. It just had a deck in that color come out that was obscenely strong and just dominated for its color. So green didn't get a big boost when Gohan released. Gohan was just released, similar to how SS4 and Sin, like people kept thinking that red was bolstered because of those. It wasn't the case. It was just red wasn't bolstered. Those 2 decks just existed. Same with Gohan. But since the hits Android 16, they make it harder for the deck to go like so early and so easily into its Z leader. So now if it wants to go into Z lead, it needs to go down to 3 or less life, sack off 3 Z energy and pay 2 energy just to go into the Z lead. So it's a lot harder to get into now. But it still has all the good things going for it. Just now, it's not going to be as easy to trigger the burn life burn from the 8 drop, but it's still going to be a strong deck. And the only other real contenders I feel like in green actually got benefits from some of the good green generic cards we've been getting, some of the good boosts, is Go Bros and the new green Trunks. And the problem with this is like you probably won't see much of Trunks of Mine because there's a new deck from the new set, and people have to try and get it with like a week to get all the pieces together and actually test with it and try it out, which isn't much time, especially for like a week. Even though we had the webcam locals going on to kind of get people practicing with the new set using proxies, it's still one as well, and it doesn't offer as much as the other 2, but it does have a strong finisher in a way that like similar to Gogeta, where you can like push it through without being worried. But unlike with Gogeta, where you can have it all on a leader, which then makes it so it's harder to, once it connects, it's harder to get through. This one is easier to interact with because it's a battle card, being the 8, as we discussed, I think in the previous episode, the 8-drop trunks along with the Z extra to make it so you can't counter it, so you can push through, make it a triple strike swing, and go all in on that. But the only problem is it's easier to deal with that when it's a battle card, especially in a red focus meta where you can like minus it mid battle and it's got no protection, to then not worry too much about it. So that could be a thing you might see because it is still decent, but then in a red focus meta, green kind of drops down because some of the main things in green is indestructible, and there's not much barrier within green, so it tends to get minus a lot by red. So yeah, red kind of a red focus meta means green is less likely to see play, but still gold's a strong one, and um Go Bros is a good one, but it kind of got hit on the list by losing some charismatics because one of the main things people mainly did with Go Bros was the fact that they focus on the unison, because one of the big issues with green that people found unfun was that with green you can drop Demagra and then have your access to your charismatic being live from turn 1 and just make it so if you play something, charismatic comes down, pops it if it's 7 or less, and if you paid energy for it, then you just wasted that unless you which was horrible. And it made Go Bros have it like be a decent attempt for a deck because you can put Demagra out turn 1. It also helps your Awaken taking your life down as well if they try to attack it to keep the markers around. Give you access to Freezer, and made it so later on if Demagra survives, you get to later turns, you can flip it out for the Freezer free drop unison to have a pretty strong game ender in that form, the form of a unison, which then gets around things like Nimbus, around its floodgate, and stuff like that to just push through. Especially being a triple strike 30k was quite strong. Plus it restood and was a blocker. But with the hit to charismatic, kind of lessens the effectiveness of the unison, meaning you can get the unison out, still have that, but then you're not really getting as much benefit as you used to be able to do. Like you got to try and draw into one of charismatic, and once charismatic is gone, that's it. Your opponent knows that there's no worry of that ever again. And then you still get the unison to have that around, but then they can just keep swinging the unison. Either then you're letting unison die, or you're taking your life to keep it around. But there's less worry that defense with Freezer. But it's still Gohan as it all has good access to Newfound Might as a good secret rare. Plus it has a good amount of draw power when using the field card healing pod with the how it draws. Normally if it's actually playing a green 1-drop that draws from the drop to get that 2 draws a turn. But then it's consistency. But then the one thing I do like about it is that the loss of charismatic means less worry about focusing on the unison strategy, and then gives access to a way to make it more consistent to get that field card out, the thing you need to be looking for, by using Berry Blue as a turn 1 play to find the field cards. To turn 2 you can go the extra field card, and then from there, which if you survive to go to turn 3, you're then good to go more consistency to find that field card which you really want. So I wouldn't expect too much green, and if you do, expect to see more Gohan, but given the hit to 16, people might have dropped off it because it's a lot less powerful than it used to be, but it's still a strong deck nonetheless. So don't expect to see too much green, but still, if you expect to see green, focus on worrying about Gohan. So then we go into yellow, and yellow has been the best color in the game throughout the entirety of the game. It's kind of like it's only dropped off a few. There's only been a few metas where it's dropped off because another deck's been a lot more powerful, or it got a few hits to it. But with the meta for yellow, there's still not too many. Like these are the 3 I feel like you'll mainly see for the format. You mainly see U7 Goku because people are so scared of the new secret rare that comes out of it. Luckily, we've had the update that battle card negates do work against it from hand. You still have to you still use battle card negates from hand to negate it, or from any area to negate the attack. But then you still do have to pay the extra tax of resting 2 cards to as the extra cost. So U7, and even though just like with the yellow green trunks, you only have like a week to test it because the set's only come out today, but we'd have to work on locals to help people kind of practice with it. And it's still a strong deck because it does have an alternative way to win, and it's you can kind of put together with just like the main deck stuff plus a few extra yellow staples to kind of make use of it. But this is one that people are going to be worried about from yellow because that secret rare is kind of the main fear, but also the burn as well from it. So this is if you're expecting yellow I would say you're supposed to more expect to see this U7 deck, but you also could expect to see Spirit Bomb. So even though yellow got a hit to the duo being limited to one, the bigger hit came to Majin Vegeta than it did to Power Bomb, Spirit Bomb, sorry. And Spirit Bomb still has the benefit, like Nimbus being such a great card, really helps yellow decks, and Spirit Bomb is probably the one that benefits off more because it can deal with aggro uh, quite well early because it starts off as a 20k Vegito lead, and then after that it flips over after you've hit your at least turn 2, so you can deal with aggression quite well early, which is nice. And as well as that, it has a good way to finish, and plus a lot of good yellow stuff. The longer it survives the later turn, the more it can put out the later it goes. And then the one that I feel could be good for the meta that I would put as a rogue pick, but then is quite decent is the Freezer Swamp deck, because as I've mentioned before, we're going to a more red focused meta thanks to Explosive Dance boosting the whole color and giving red a big boost. And red also already having a lot of good red decks that they can use. Golden Freezer is a deck that provides you with some nice stuff in the form of most of your battle cards having barrier as well. So you can have less worry about your opponent dropping stuff to keep minusing your board, controlling your board, or like counterplaying the minus your stuff after you play it by having barrier on, and you can put quite a bit of pressure on it, like by swapping through, not really losing much advantage because you're swapping cards out from board to hand, not really losing anything, and get some useful effects. Plus, you have good defense in like Repose in some, well, not metas, but in more matchups, and also having a 20k base Z lead as well could help you defensively pass. And plus, you've got a very good secret rare to use in the Gohan. Once again, like yellow has a very good option of secret rares in the Gohan, or even bursting rage as well. So if you expect any yellow decks, probably the Spirit Bomb and U7 Goku would be the ones you'd expect, and Golden Freezer could be a good one to pick to kind of go for the meta that you expect like to come up to power because of a red meta. That brings us to the last color and the last bit of this episode, and that is black. And black got a big boost, but then once again, it feels like more black got a big boost, not to black in general, but to like one specific deck, being Mecha Burr. Like black is still like a very good color. It got a big boost in just support and good generic stuff. But the stronger black deck in the format is Mecha Burr because it gave it basically got a very good boss monster. It got a very good Z lead as well, and it also has good stuff in black cards. You got like Bardock Tenacious, you got Petrification and stuff like that, and you even got in this deck a way to like a negate that also can be used alternatively to give your leader a 5k boost, like a bean kind of level, like 5k boost for the turn, making your leader potentially a 25k defensively to make it harder to be pushed to death. And while also putting out like very like making good use of cards from your warp, from your drop and stuff like that, and just still being like a pseudo wish deck to awaken quite easily, and also get the benefit of looking through your life as well. So you get the benefit of having 20k Xenia, very good boss monsters that can play from different areas, floodgates, like some good floodgates, or like in like tenacious petrification, and also being able to have access to see what's in your life, so you know what you can potentially hit from your life, like where your secret is or where cards are. Because when you look for the balls, you can look for your life and your deck to have all that knowledge of where things are. It's just a great benefit, and it's just a scary deck to go against. But it's like with red, you can keep minusing down, so it might have a little bit more trouble. But it's probably the best black deck to play, and I'd expect a fair few mechie as we've seen from the format. And then other things you got is another good one is Cumber, having the same thing of a Z lead being 20k as well, and be able to like kind of stun your opponent by giving them their card servant to keep them locked down while they're at rest, and also make use of them by comboing them off and stuff like that as well, and so having access to good black cards and a good amount of draw power. And then you've got the more aggressive one, like you can get some black decks that be very aggressive in the SS4 Son Goku. So that can be one that you'd expect to be like very aggressive early, push through, push crit swings, and just make it so you're on the back foot from the beginning. Especially if you lose a dirt roll, it's like a very high risk, high reward. But I would expect more to be Mecha Burr, maybe Cumber, and then the odd Son Goku. So black probably be the second most represented color in the format. I feel with Mecha Burr maybe there as the main one, but still it looks to be more of a red focused meta, but a lot of black, and then some of the other colors fighting to kind of be in there a bit. So if you were to prepare, it would be more against like combat, expecting a lot of red, expecting quite a bit of black, and then the other colours, like trying to think about what cards you most expect to see in those colours, mainly like blue Gogeta, yellow U7 and Spirit Bomb, and then green mainly Gohan, for expecting what to prepare for your deck for the meta. So that is it for today. That is it for the third episode. Hopefully it was helpful and give you a bit of knowledge to what to expect. And hope if you don't agree with me about what to expect of meta, think this other stuff, then feel free to comment down below. And also remember to like the video and subscribe as well to get updated with my video and especially the series. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.